3 hours behind the wheel, and my knuckles still grip the steering wheel as I pull into the familiar cobblestone driveway of my parents' colonial home in Springfield. Red and green lights twinkle from every neighboring house, except ours. The December wind whips around my face as I step out of my car, staring at the empty spot where Mom's silver Buick should be. Something twists in my stomach. Every Christmas Eve for the past 32 years, that car has been here, waiting. Mom? My voice bounces off bare walls as I unlock the front door. Hello? Silence answers, broken only by the hum of the ancient refrigerator. The house stands dark except for a faint glow spilling from the kitchen. A chill runs through me, one that has nothing to do with the winter air seeping through my cardigan. Anyone home? The floorboards creak under my feet as I move toward the light. I brought those butter cookies you like, Grand. The words die in my throat. Grandma Irene sits alone at the kitchen table, hunched over a chipped plate of cold ham and beans. Her silver hair hangs limp and unwashed around her face. The blouse she wears, I recognize it from my visit last month. Grandma? My voice comes out small, like I'm 8 years old again. She doesn't look up, just pushes a torn piece of paper across the scratched wooden surface. Mom's flowery handwriting jumps out at me. Spend your $8,200 loan on a family vacation. Please take care of Grandma. Love, Mom. The room spins. I grab the edge of the counter, feeling the granite bite into my palms. 6 months of double shifts at the laboratory flash through my mind. Weekends at the mall, folding sweaters until my fingers cramped. The jaw pain that wakes me every night. The specialist who keeps saying I need surgery before the TMJ gets worse. $8,000, the money I'd trusted Mom to hold while I switched banks. They left 3 days ago. Grandma's weathered hand covers mine. Her skin feels paper thin. Mediterranean cruise. A high-pitched sound fills the room. It takes me a moment to realize it's coming from me. I need to sit down. The kitchen chair scrapes against linoleum as I sink into it. My eyes catch the empty pill organizer on the counter, an unpaid utility notice with bold red letters. They said you'd understand. Grandma's voice drops to a whisper. Family comes first. My hands shake as I pull out my phone. Muscle memory, finding Mom's number. It rings once before going to voicemail. We're enjoying our family vacation, back in 2 weeks. Mom's recorded voice bubbles with artificial cheer. In the background, I hear Brenda and Logan laughing. The message tone beeps. I open my mouth, but the words stick in my throat like glass. How could you? I delete it without sending. Instead, I type 4 words. Grandma is safe with me. Wait here. Grandma pushes herself up from the table, her movements slow but deliberate. She disappears into the hallway, returns clutching a worn shoebox. I've been keeping records. She sets it between us, lifts the lid. Inside, neat stacks of papers fill the space. Bank statements. Receipts. Her spidery handwriting noting dates and amounts. I've been waiting for someone to see what I've seen for years. We spread the documents across the table like a map of betrayal. Every unauthorized withdrawal, every borrowed dollar, every broken promise documented in fading ink. I look at my grandmother, really look at her. The proud woman who taught me to bake snickerdoodles, who never missed a school play, who saved every birthday card I ever made her. Now she sits in yesterday's clothes, eating cold leftovers while her own daughter sails the Mediterranean with my surgery money. Her eyes meet mine, and something shifts in their pale blue depths. The resignation melts away, replaced by a spark I haven't seen in years. This ends now. My voice comes out steady, stronger than I feel. But I need to know everything. Grandma straightens in her chair. Her fingers brush over the papers, ready to uncover decades of careful documentation. Yes, she says. It's time. The kitchen table disappears under a sea of bank statements and faded receipts. My fingertips brush against the rough edges of papers Grandma Irene has kept hidden for years, each one a testament to quiet suffering. The numbers blur before my eyes. $4,400 vanished from her pension account in increments small enough to stay under the radar. Just like Mom taught me to organize my science fair data in middle school, Grandma has documented every withdrawal with painful precision. Look here. Irene's finger trembles as she points to a series of transactions. The ATM near Richard's favorite Sinclair station. Every Friday afternoon. Her silver hair catches the morning light streaming through unwashed windows. They thought I wouldn't notice. The dates jump out at my regular withdrawals starting in 2018, right after Mom got access to Grandma's accounts. For groceries, she'd said. For Grandma's prescriptions. The prescription bottles on the counter tell a different story, empty, unfilled. My phone buzzes, a text from Kelly, Logan's wife. Can we talk? Not on family chat. I need to take this, I tell Grandma, stepping onto the back porch where frost crystals crunch under my shoes. The December wind bites through my cardigan. Elise? Kelly's voice wavers. I can't be part of this anymore. Logani said if you didn't give them the money, they'd just leave your grandma and figure it out later. The porch railing digs into my palm. What? I recorded them. Planning the cruise, laughing about using your surgery money. Richard bought new golf clubs the same day they booked it. Ice spreads through my chest. The specialist's voicemail from yesterday echoes in my head. Without intervention, the TMJ condition will continue to deteriorate. I'll testify if you need me to, Kelly says. I've watched them use you both for years. The massage therapy business Brenda keeps asking you to invest in, it's not real. Logan's been using the startup money for sports betting. The utilities notice on Grandma's counter flashes in my mind disconnection in 7 days. My own apartment lease ends next month. The surgery savings were supposed to secure my renewal. Thank you, Kelly. My voice sounds strange, distant. I need to go. Back inside, I pull up my bank's fraud department number. The recording feels endless. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. Grandma watches me pace, her hands folded in her lap like paper birds. Fraud prevention, this is Susan. I grip the phone tighter. I need to report unauthorized use of funds. The conversation stretches like cold taffy account numbers, dates, amounts. Susan's typing echoes through the line. I open my laptop, create a new spreadsheet. Every transaction, every lie, every betrayal cataloged in clean rows and columns. Have you considered legal action? Susan asks. I have a friend, Grandma says suddenly. Deborah Wilson, she's an attorney. Helped my friend Barbara when her son emptied her accounts. The business card appears from Grandma's weathered wallet, edges soft with age. 3 rings, then a crisp voice answers. Deborah Wilson. 10 minutes later, she's agreed to take our case pro bono. Elder financial abuse, she calls it, the words sharp and clean as surgical instruments. We'll start with a cease and desist. Grandma's bedroom holds a lifetime of memories we need to pack. I pull a small suitcase from under her bed, the same one she took to visit me after my college graduation when everyone else was too busy. The photo, she says, pointing to her nightstand. Mom, Dad, Brenda, Logan, and me, at Thanksgiving 1998, before Richard, before the lies started. Before Mom learned to smile while reaching for someone else's wallet. You don't have to bring it, I say softly. I need to remember who they were. She tucks it between sweaters. And who they chose to become. Later that night, the spare room in my apartment isn't much a twin bed, a second-hand dresser, a window looking out at the parking lot. But the rent is paid through December and the deadbolt works. Night settles over us like a heavy blanket. Grandma stands in her new doorway, clutching her old quilted robe. The same robe she wore when teaching me to make snickerdoodles, when bandaging my scraped knees, when listening to my dreams of working in medicine. They've been stealing more than money, I say, the truth rising like steam from hot asphalt after rain. They've been stealing your dignity for years, Grandma. Her eyes meet mine in the dim light. For the first time since I found her at that kitchen table, they're clear and sharp as broken glass. Yes, she says, but not anymore. 2 days later, my phone buzzes for the 5th time today. Another Instagram notification. Brenda poses on the deck of a cruise ship, Mediterranean waters sparkling behind her, arm wrapped around Mom's shoulders. Both wear new sundresses, their faces flushed from expensive wine. Just another perfect day in paradise, reads the caption. Family time, blessed. The words blur as my jaw locks tight. The familiar ache spreads up into my temple. On my laptop screen, the bank balance mock me. $324.16. Not enough for even one of my TMJ specialist appointments, let alone the surgery. Your mother sent more pictures. Grandma Irene shuffles into my cramped living room, squinting at her ancient flip phone. They bought matching outfits in Rome. The recorded temperature on her medical chart this morning, 99.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Low-grade fever from the sinus infection we can't treat until her Medicare kicks back in. 3 more days. My phone chirps with a voicemail. Mom's voice floats through the speaker, bright as a game show host. Hi, sweetie. Found you the cutest little souvenir in Naples. Hope Grandma hasn't been too much trouble. You're such an angel for helping out. Before I can respond, a text from Logan pops up. Hey sis, you're so good with her. Maybe this is your calling instead of that surgery? Everything happens for a reason. The phone clatters onto the coffee table. My hands curl into fists, uncurl. The social services office opens in 20 minutes. Get your coat, Grandma. We have an appointment. Half an hour later, we arrived at the counseling. The waiting room smells of lemon cleaner and old coffee. Grandma's thin fingers twist in her lap as we sit across from Mrs. Chen, the elder abuse counselor. Her measured voice fills the small office. What you're describing is financial exploitation. It's more common than people think, especially with family members. She slides a folder across her desk. We need to document everything. For the next hour, Grandma speaks into a digital recorder. Her voice trembles at first, then steadies as she recounts each betrayal. The missing pension payments, the maxed-out credit cards, the guilt trips and broken promises. I stand straighter with each revelation, spine stiffening like steel. This woman raised 3 children alone after Grandpa died, worked 2 jobs, never missed a bill. Now she sits in borrowed clothes because her own daughter cleaned out her accounts. 3 hours later, back home, we climb to the attic. Dust motes dance in the afternoon light as Grandma pulls out a battered storage box. Your grandfather taught me to keep everything. She lifts the lid, revealing stacks of paper organized by year. Every receipt, every bank statement, every conversation written down with the date and time. My fingers brush over her careful handwriting. Decades of documentation, waiting for someone to finally see. A text lights up my phone. Kelly, Logan's wife. Check your email. I saved the group chat screenshots from when they planned the cruise. I can't stay quiet anymore. My laptop chimes. Attorney Deborah's response arrives with 3 options, each more serious than the last. The words criminal charges jump from the screen. Weeks pass quickly. The support rolls in like a tide. Thomas from the lab offers his guest room if we need it. My supervisor approves emergency leave with pay, no questions asked. Pastor Jim sets up meal delivery from the church ladies. Barbara, the elderly widow next door, brings over coffee and banana bread. I went through something similar with my nephew, she says, squeezing my hand. You're doing the right thing. The kitchen table disappears under spreading papers, bank statements, credit card bills, photos of Grandma's empty pill organizers. Together we build our case, document by document. See how I note the date in red? Grandma demonstrates her filing system, and anything suspicious gets a yellow sticky tab. Your grandfather worked in accounting, he always said. Keep the receipts, date the conversations, I finish. The phrase echoes from childhood visits when I'd watch him organize his desk on Sunday afternoons. My phone rings. Mom's number. They're coming back tomorrow. My voice surprises me with its steadiness. No tremor, no uncertainty. Grandma's shoulders, hunched for so long, pull back. Her chin lifts. Then we'll be ready for them. We rehearse our statements late into the night, each point backed by evidence, each accusation supported by proof. No more manipulation, no more guilt, no more lies. Later, sorting through old photos, I find one from my college graduation. Empty seats in the family section. My fingers trace the lonely figure in cap and gown. I spent my whole life trying to earn their love. The words catch in my throat. Working extra shifts, lending money, making excuses for them. Grandma's arms wrap around me, fragile but fierce. Love isn't earned, sweetheart. It's given. Freely. The way you've given it to me these past weeks. I sink into her embrace, smelling talcum powder and White Diamond's perfume. The scent of my real mother. The one who showed up. The one who stayed. You know what the worst part is? I whisper into her shoulder. I actually believed them every time. That next time would be different. That they'd finally see me. I saw you, Grandma says. I've always seen you, even when you couldn't see yourself. Tomorrow they'll return with tanned faces and designer luggage, expecting compliance. Forgiveness. The same old pattern. But the pattern ends here. The evidence sits in neat folders ready for court. The attorney stays on speed dial. The truth, hidden for so long in Grandma's careful records, finally breaks free. Let them come home to paradise lost. We found something better. Freedom, truth, each other. The war chest of documents stands ready on the kitchen table. Our battle plan laid out in Grandma's precise handwriting. The next move belongs to them. They taught me family comes first. They never expected me to choose the right family. The next morning, the dining room light casts harsh shadows across the polished oak table. I adjust the voice recorder one last time, centering it between stacks of bank statements and social services reports. Attorney Deborah Wilson sits beside us, her silver hair swept into an elegant French twist, her leather briefcase filled with 40 years of receipts. Grandma Irene smooths her crisp new blouse, her first shopping trip since the crew's betrayal. Her hands tremble slightly, but her spine remains straight against the high-back chair. 3 empty chairs wait across from us, a laptop screen glowing between them. The front door squeaks open. Mom bursts in first, Brenda and Logan trailing behind. Richard brings up the rear, his usual golf polo replaced by an ill-fitting suit. We brought presents. Mom holds up a gaudy gift bag, voice artificially bright. The Mediterranean tan only highlights the strain around her eyes. Whatever she told you is exaggerated. Richard plants his feet wide, hands jammed in his pockets. Family matters should stay private. You have to see these sunset photos. Brenda fumbles with her phone, manicured nails clicking against the screen. The Greek islands were just... Is this really necessary? Logan's gaze darts between the attorney and the voice recorder. We can work this out ourselves, like always. I meet each of their eyes in turn. Please sit down. They shuffle forward, shooting nervous glances at the formal place cards marking their seats. Mom starts to speak, but I press play on the recorder. Kelly's voice fills the room. They planned it weeks ago. Said if Elise wouldn't give them the money voluntarily, they'd just take it and deal with the fallout later. Richard called Irene dead weight when he thought no one could hear. Color drains from Logan's face. He grabs his phone, probably texting Kelly. Too late. The projector hums to life. Bank statements appear on the wall, rows of unauthorized transfers highlighted in sickly yellow. Dates, times, amounts that built a paper trail of betrayal. Those withdrawals could have been anyone. Mom interrupts, voice climbing higher. And after everything we've done, taking care of Mother all these years, we deserved. Mrs. Matthews. Deborah's tone could freeze water. Let me outline Missouri's elder abuse statutes. She opens a leather-bound folder. Financial exploitation of the elderly carries penalties of up to 10 years imprisonment and fines up to $20,000 per incident. I click to the next slide. Photos of Grandma from the days after they abandoned heroin-washed hair, unchanged clothes, empty pill organizers, the social services report detailing her condition. The Springfield Herald expressed interest in covering this story. I keep my voice steady. Elder financial exploitation makes compelling headlines, especially during the holidays. You wouldn't dare, Richard surges forward. You ungrateful little. 10 days. I cut through his bluster. Return $12,600, the original amount, plus the prescriptions and utilities you left unpaid, or we proceed legally. Mom's careful makeup streaks as tears spill down her cheeks. But sweetheart, we're family. You can't. She's just an old woman wasting away anyway. Richard slams his palm against the table. Who cares if? He freezes, horror spreading across his face as he realizes what he's revealed. Brenda's eyes narrow, calculating. She touches Mom's arm. Of course we'll pay it back. We just need time to arrange. 10 days. I slide the repayment agreement across the table. Sign now. Logan's phone buzzes again. His shoulders slump as he reads Kelly's latest message. One by one, they scrawl their signatures, Mom's flowing script. Richard's angry slash, Brenda's precise letters, Logan's shaky scrawl. Grandma speaks for the first time, her quiet voice cutting through the tension. I kept every receipt for 40 years. She pats the stack of papers beside her. Remember that. I stand, offering my arm to Grandma. We walk out together, leaving them with their empty gift bag and hollow excuses. The December wind whips around us as we step onto the porch. But for the first time since this nightmare began, I feel warm. Ready to go home? I ask. Grandma squeezes my arm. Her steps are sure as we walk away from the house where I grew up, where we both learned that some bonds are forged by blood, but the strongest ones are built on trust. Behind us, the front door opens. Mom calls out, Elise, please. I don't turn around. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply walking away. 8 days later, my phone buzzed for the 5th time this morning. Mother's name flashes across the screen, accompanied by a photo of her smiling face from happier times. I let it ring. Just delete her number, Thomas suggests from his spot by the coffee maker in the lab break room. He slides a steaming mug across the table. You don't owe them anything. I need to document everything. My voice sounds hollow even to my own ears. 8 days have passed since our confrontation. 2 days remain until the deadline, and they've only repaid $800 of the $12,600 they stole. The phone buzzes again. This time, it's a text from Brenda. We're selling Richard's car. Just need more time. Please don't do this to the family. My jaw throbs. I slip another Tylenol between my lips, washing it down with Thomas's coffee. The bitterness matches my mood. A knock at the break room door makes me jump. Carol from reception holds out a thick manila envelope. Special delivery for you, Han. Inside, childhood photos spill across the table. Mom holding my hand at my kindergarten graduation. Brenda and Logan flanking me at church picnics. Family vacations where we all wore matching shirts. Each image selected to remind me of supposed happier times, to make me question my resolve. My hands shake as I stuff the photos back into the envelope. They're trying to gaslight me with my own memories. Classic manipulation. Thomas gathers the scattered pictures, his movements gentle but firm. You know what's real. The bank statements don't lie. My phone lights up with a voicemail notification. Richard's gruff voice fills the break room as I hit speaker. Listen here, young lady. Family takes care of family. Your mother raised you better than this. If you go through with this tomorrow, you'll regret destroying everything we built. Think about what you're doing to your brother and sister. I end the playback, my finger pressing the delete button with savage satisfaction. Everything we built? They built their lives on stealing from Grandma and me. The afternoon crawls by in a haze of blood samples and centrifuges. When my shift ends, I find Logan leaning against my car in the hospital parking lot. Just happened to be in the neighborhood, he says, hands shoved in his pockets. Thought I'd give you a ride to Grandma's doctor appointment. She's not seeing the doctor today. I grip my keys tighter, the metal biting into my palm. And her medical information isn't your business anymore. Come on, sis. He steps closer, that familiar pleading look in his eyes. The same one he used when begging me to cover his gambling debts. We can work this out. Brenda has a payment plan figured out. We'll take care of your part first then. Then what? My voice rises, echoing across the parking lot. Leave Grandma hanging again? Let me guess. You'll pay her back eventually, right? Just like you paid back the $1,000 you borrowed from her Social Security check last year? Logan's face darkens. That's different. I had expenses. At the casino? The words taste like acid. Save it for the judge tomorrow. And stay away from my car. That night, I helped Grandma lay out her clothes for court. Her best blouse, freshly pressed. The pearl earrings Grandpa gave her on their 40th anniversary. Are you sure about this? She asks, her weathered hands smoothing invisible wrinkles from the fabric. They're still your family. No. I sit beside her on the bed, taking her hands in mine. Family doesn't steal your surgery money and abandon you with empty pill bottles. Family doesn't spend 40 years draining your accounts and calling it love. The morning brings a crisp Missouri autumn, leaves crunching under our feet as Attorney Deborah walks us into the courthouse. Mom, Richard, Brenda, and Logan huddle near the entrance, their faces a mixture of indignation and false confidence. Behind them, Kelly stands alone, clutching a manila folder of her own evidence. Last chance, Mom calls out as we pass. We can still handle this privately. I don't slow my stride. The click of my heels against marble floors drowns out her voice. Inside the courtroom, we take our seats beside the bank fraud investigator and the social services representative. Attorney Deborah spreads her documents across the table with surgical precision. 40 years of financial records, bank statements, ATM photos, Kelly's recorded conversations about the cruise scheme. When the judge enters, I sit straighter. The pain in my jaw feels distant now, replaced by a cold clarity. I watch my family file into their seats, still believing they can talk their way out of this like they have so many times before. Richard starts to rise, that practiced smile spreading across his face. Your Honor, we have a reasonable payment plan to propose. The court is not interested in proposals. The judge's voice cuts through his bluster. The evidence before me shows a clear pattern of elder financial exploitation and fraud spanning decades. The color drains from Mom's face as the judge continues reading from the forensic report. Each unauthorized withdrawal, every forged check, the systematic emptying of Grandma's pension account. Kelly's testimony comes next, her voice steady as she describes the family's casual cruelty. They laughed about it over dinner. Said Elise would cave like always because she cared too much about looking like a good daughter. I feel Grandma's hand slip into mine as the medical reports are presented. The documented decline in her health during those 3 days alone, the missed medications, the untreated UTI that could have become sepsis. When the judge speaks again, her tone has shifted from professional to steely. This court orders immediate repayment of all stolen funds plus interest. Mrs. Matthews's accounts will be placed under court-appointed financial oversight. She turns her gaze to Richard. Furthermore, given the evidence of intimidation, a restraining order is granted against Richard Wilson. The gavel strikes wood like a thunderclap. In that moment, I see my family's facades crumble. Mom's carefully applied mascara tracks down her cheeks. Brenda's manicured nails dig into her designer purse. Logan slumps in his seat, all false bravado evaporated. Additionally, the judge continues, Patricia Matthews, Richard Wilson, Brenda Matthews, and Logan Matthews will attend mandatory financial exploitation education programs. Failure to comply will result in criminal charges being filed. Outside the courthouse, reporters cluster with microphones extended. The local senior protection organization wants to honor Grandma's courage. Someone mentions a community support fund for elder abuse victims. I guide Grandma past them all, toward the car where Thomas waits to drive us home. A journalist calls out, asking for a statement about our victory. No comment. I say, helping Grandma into the backseat. This was about justice, not publicity. As we pull away from the courthouse, I catch a final glimpse of my family in the rearview mirror. They stand frozen on the steps, looking small and lost without their power to manipulate. For the first time in my life, I feel no urge to turn back and fix things for them. Grandma's voice is soft but clear. You did the right thing. We did, I corrected her, reaching back to squeeze her hand. We did it together. We will comfort each other and enjoy freedom together. At the present, spring sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, turning my new kitchen into a haven of warmth. 6 months after that devastating Christmas Eve, the granite countertops gleam beneath mason jars filled with fresh herbs. The constant ache in my jaw has finally subsided, replaced by a gentle reminder of healing whenever I touch the fading surgical scar. The basil needs more water. Grandma Irene's voice carries from her bedroom, where she arranges pressed flowers in an album. Her silver hair catches the morning light, styled in the gentle waves Barbara from next door taught her last week. I lift the copper watering can, letting drops fall like summer rain over the miniature garden we've cultivated on the windowsill. These plants root us in our new life, marking time with green shoots and fragrant leaves. The calendar hanging between our bedrooms overflows with ink. Irene's watercolor class on Tuesdays, my therapy sessions with Dr. Marshall, weekend brunches with Thomas from the lab. No more empty squares waiting to be filled with other people's demands. A text message lights up my phone. Brenda again. I've been seeing someone, a counselor. Maybe we could talk? I set the phone face down without responding. The boundaries Dr. Marshall and I discussed hold firm, like the walls of this sun-washed apartment. Some bridges need to stay burned. Mom and Richard separated last month. The Mediterranean cruise receipts finally broke something even he couldn't fix with false promises and golf club purchases. Logan lost his job at the investment firm when his gambling came to light. Last I heard, he checked into a program upstate. Kelly visits sometimes, bringing books for Grandma and stories of her fresh start in Kansas City. She's the only one who earned back the right to cross our threshold. The Timer ladies want me to teach them origami next week. Grandma appears in the doorway wearing the lavender cardigan she bought herself with her first truly private bank account. Barbara says I have a gift for it. I smile, remembering the fierce pride in her voice when she told her social worker about the senior center craft group she now leads. The Timer ladies know talent when they see it. The dining table between us hasn't seen a family meal in half a year. Instead, it hosts our quiet breakfasts, phones tucked away in drawers while we share coffee and crossword puzzles. Sometimes Thomas joins us, his steady laugh filling spaces that used to echo with guilt. Pastor Jim drops by with fresh banana bread and conversation that never carries hidden hooks. My evening graduate program acceptance letter hangs on the bulletin board, next to a photo of Grandma surrounded by her new friends from the center. Their faces shine with the particular joy of women who've stopped apologizing for taking up space. The doorbell chimes. Attorney Deborah stands on our welcome mat, holding a folder of final paperwork. Just need your signatures to close everything out. She settles at our table, where so many battles were planned. Though I'll miss our strategy sessions. Grandma's hand finds mine under the table as we sign. The restraining order against Richard becomes permanent. Mom's mandatory financial exploitation classes continue for another year. The trust protecting Grandma's pension now has triple lock security. Later, as the sun sets, we sit on our small balcony. The spring breeze carries the scent of blooming dogwood trees. Why didn't you just leave when you saw the note? Grandma's question floats between us, gentle as dandelion seeds. I watch a pair of cardinals dart between branches, taking their time choosing the perfect spot for their nest. Because I remembered who I was before they made me forget. The smile that crosses her face holds decades of quiet knowing. For the first time, I don't feel like a burden anymore. My new hospital ID badge catches the dying light. Laboratory supervisor, the promotion I earned last week. The raise means we can visit the art museum in St. Louis next month. Grandma wants to show me the Impressionist paintings she studied in college, before marriage and motherhood swallowed her dreams. Our joint checking account grows slowly but steadily. No more unauthorized withdrawals, no more guilt-soaked loans, just careful planning for weekend trips and the occasional splurge on fresh flowers. The new photo album on our coffee table tells our revised story. Grandma teaching her first craft class. My graduation from physical therapy. Thomas and Barbara joining us for Thanksgiving dinner. Pastor Jim blessing our home. Attorney Deborah raising a toast at our housewarming. Each picture captures genuine smiles, the kind that reach tired eyes and make them young again. Christmas Eve arrives with gentle determination. Our chosen family gathers around a table set with Grandma's cherished china, rescued from the old house. Thomas brings his famous pecan pie. Barbara strings white lights along the windows. Pastor Jim says grace, his words washing over us like baptism. For the courage to begin again, we give thanks. I look around at these faces, lined with years of their own battles, bright with victory. This is what family should feel like. Not an obligation, but a gift. Not a chain, but a choice. The porch swing creaks softly as Grandma and I settle in for our evening ritual. Winter stars pierce the purple twilight. Her weathered hand rests briefly on my healed jaw, where pain once lived like an unwelcome tenant. Our gentle rocking matches the rhythm of our breathing, synchronized after months of learning each other's cadence. No words needed now. Just the quiet certainty that landed in my chest that terrible night 6 months ago, growing stronger with each passing day. We're gonna be just fine.